having aught to do before the Honorable United States District Court for the Western District of Pennsylvania, draw nigh, and you shall be heard. God save the United States and this honorable court. The Honorable Thomas P. Agresti, United States Bankruptcy Judge, presiding.
Good morning. Please be seated. At this time, I'd like to welcome all of you on this very happy yet solemn occasion, and for which many of you waited so long and worked so hard, and now been complicated with the coronavirus issues. Let me congratulate each of you today on your wonderful achievement, and welcome you and extend thanks from the court to all of you and the persons and organizations that help make this ceremony the wonderful event that it is. My name is Judge Tom Agresti. Hopefully you can hear me. We're going to honor the social distancing requirements, as you can all see, as well as the masking, and I'm a great advocate for that, so I'm going to try and keep this on so long as my eyeglasses don't fog up too much, and I want to make sure I can see everybody throughout this. We're gathered here today for the very pleasant purpose of administering the oath of United States citizenship to, I believe, 17 new citizens, or candidates who have all met the requirements established by law to become a United States citizen. And again, even though it's all been complicated by the COVID-19 pandemic. This time, the court recognizes Attorney Paul Sellers, Assistant United States Attorney for the Western District of Pennsylvania, who will offer the motion for the grant of citizenship to the applicants assembled here today. Attorney Sellers.
Thank you, Your Honor. It is my pleasure to introduce 17 candidates for United States citizenship. They come from 9 countries of the world, including Bhutan, Burma, Iraq, Philippines, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Ukraine, and the United Kingdom. Each person has voluntarily come forward to state his or her own personal declaration of independence from all former allegiances and loyalties, just as our forefathers did over 241 years ago. Each candidate is of good moral character, attached to the ideals and principles of the United States, and eligible in all respects for citizenship upon taking the prescribed oath of allegiance to the United States and its Constitution. On behalf of the United States Attorney for the Western District of Pennsylvania, I formally move that the oath of renunciation and citizenship be administered.
Thank you, Attorney Sellers. I'll grant that motion at this time. Folks, the next step in the process is that we're going to administer the oath of renunciation and allegiance. It's a 2-step process. The first part of it, I'm going to simply ask you to say, I do at the end of it, and then the second part, with respect to the matters of allegiance, I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. So with that, if our applicants or candidates for citizenship please stand, I'll administer the oath of renunciation and allegiance. Please raise your right hand. And at this part, if you just respond with I do at the conclusion of this statement. You hereby declare on oath that you absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty of whom or which you have heretofore been a subject or citizen. Please state I do.
I do.
All right, and now if you would repeat each phrase after me. That I will support and defend. You got to do a little better than that. All right, next one. The Constitution and laws.
The Constitution and laws.
There you go, real good. Thank you. Of the United States of America.
Of the United States of America.
Against all enemies.
Against all enemies.
Foreign and domestic.
Foreign.
That I will bear true faith.
That I will bear true faith.
And allegiance to the same.
And allegiance.
And that I will bear arms.
And I will bear arms.
On behalf of the United States.
On behalf of the United States.
When required by law.
When required by law.
That I will perform non-combatant service.
That I will perform non-combatant service.
In the armed forces of the United States.
In the armed forces of the United States.
When required by law.
When required by law.
That I will perform work of national importance.
And I will perform
Under civilian direction.
under civilian direction.
When required by law.
When required by law.
And that I take this obligation freely.
I will take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose purpose of evasion. So help me God. Very good. Congratulations. Now, if everyone would please join us and our new citizens with their first Pledge of Allegiance as a citizen of the United States of America. We'll stand and approach the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Now, typically, unfortunately for you, this is a day of great joy, but it's also a sad day in a sense, because here you are today becoming new citizens of the United States without your family and friends in attendance. And we understand that, but because of the restrictions imposed by coronavirus and the pandemic, this is the best we can do. But we're going to try and mimic our typical ceremony, where we have a number of dignitaries from the community to come and talk and give remarks. And typically we have 4 of the judges, Erie judges, here on the bench to comment and congratulate each of you. But we're going to, because of the circumstances, we have to limit the amount of people participating. But fortunately, we have the mayor of the city of Erie, Mayor Joe Schember here, who has been a regular at these events for over a year, 2 years, if not more. But we appreciate his attendance, and we thought we would bring a little bit of our traditional ceremony together by allowing him to come and comment. We'll make some comments to you, and his comments are always so sincere and heartfelt that we thought it was important that he be here. And plus, he represents the major municipality in our community. So with that, Mayor Schember, I'm going to ask you to keep your mask on and maintain a social distance here. I know you like to get right into the crowd and shake hands and rub elbows, but we're not going to do that today, okay? Hello, everyone. Welcome to America. Welcome to Erie. It's great to have you here. It's really my honor to be here to welcome each and every one of you. You know, America is really a nation of immigrants and refugees. Everyone in this room is either an immigrant or refugee or the descendant of immigrants and refugees. Don't be concerned. I don't want any of you to be concerned at all if you look or sound a little different than people like me who have been here all their life. In Erie, we highly value diversity. And you bring more diversity to Erie, and diversity is really our greatest strength, I believe. The more diversity we have, the more ideas we have, and I believe the better future we have as well. We want, my team and I, want everyone in Erie to feel valued and accepted for who each one of you is, and what I believe are the special talents that each of you bring to the city of Erie. I really believe diversity is Erie's greatest strength. This is my favorite event every month. I'm at a lot of events, but this is my favorite one. My grandparents on my father's side came over from Sicily. My great-grandparents on my mother's side came over from Ireland. If they hadn't come over, I wouldn't be here today because my parents never would have met. So being here with you, as you become new Americans, as you just became new Americans, it really makes me feel closer to my grandparents. And just think, someday, one of your descendants could be mayor of Erie, or a judge, or, you know, the opportunities are boundless for your offspring. I'd like to introduce a couple of members of my staff who are here. First, Deacon Astari Carpenter. Deacon is our liaison to the New American community. So, you're going to give out your cards today? Yes. So there, you know, I'll talk about some things you can pick up right at the end here.
But Deacon is available to you for any questions you have, give you direction. She does a great work with new Americans and immigrants and refugees here in Erie. That's an important part of what we do. And Frank Stramella is our media consultant. And Frank is Zooming this or streaming
on
it
Facebook.
on Facebook. So it'll be there and available, right? They'll be able to watch it then later as well. There's two last important things I want to say to you. One of the most important things is that you register to vote now that you're an American citizen, and that you do vote every year. Normally, we have people here to help you do that, but again, because of the situation with COVID-19, we're not able to do that. But I really want to encourage you, please make an effort within the next week. Make sure you get registered to vote this November. The second thing that's really important that each and every one of you do this year is complete the census. It's really something very important for every American to do this year. I don't know, have you heard anything about the census before? Have you heard about that at all? A couple of you have. It affects us in two really important ways. First, the federal government gives out about $675 billion. That's billion with a B. Federal government gives out $675 billion every year to communities around the country, cities and townships. And the amount we get for Erie is determined by the census, the amount of money that comes from the federal government. Also, we have representatives in Washington, D.C., in the House of Representatives, the U.S. House of Representatives. The number of representatives we have is also determined by the census. So for that very important money and for representation at the federal government, it's very important that each of you does the census. It's estimated that for every person that does not report, we lose about $2,100 per year, every year for the next 10 years, because the census is done every 10 years. There are estimates right now that we could have 50,000 people in Erie County, in the entire county, 50,000 who don't report. And if that happens, because of the $2,100 we lose for every one, we would lose over $1 billion, that's billion with a B, over $1 billion in federal funding over the next 10 years. So, now some people are afraid to complete the census because they're afraid they're giving out information. But you're asked 9 questions. I'll tell you what they are in a minute. But any information you do in the census, you can do it by phone or you can do it online. Any information kept by law that you give is kept strictly confidential for at least 72 years. So you can add 72 to your current age, and that's the earliest any information would be left out. So there's no reason not to complete the census. It's kept strictly confidential. The 9 questions they ask you are your name, your age, your date of birth, your sex, male or female, your race, your telephone number, and how many people live with you. Those additional people staying with you, you'd have to fill out the same information for each of them. So every live human being in Erie, we'd like to get counted this year. The census started in mid-March. It's going to go till the end of August. And again, we ask you please complete the census. So again, it's my honor to be here with you. One of the things that's important to me is that all of us treat each other with trust and respect. And I believe if we do that, there's no limit to what we can accomplish. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Chandler. We appreciate those comments, as always. This event represents a high point for us in the court family, and it's a joyous time for everyone in the courtroom because receipt of United States citizenship is such a precious possession. It's a priceless heritage growing out of the struggles of people just like you who have come here from all over the world for over 200 years, building this country into the wonderful place it is. Most Americans receive their citizenship as a right of their birth, but all of you are very special because you chose to become a citizen of this great country and then work so very hard to achieve your goal. Getting to this day has required a period of waiting, study, and examination, often entailing struggles, in addition to those required to earning a living for yourselves and your family, all complicated by the COVID-19 pandemic. But by virtue of your experience in achieving citizenship, you will always place a special value on it because of those struggles. Unfortunately, too many Americans take the right of citizenship for granted, along with all the rights and powers that go with it. As new citizens right now, you are aware of all those rights and powers, the freedoms afforded by the Constitution and Bill of Rights. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the right to vote, and the right to own property. But you must never forget the tremendous responsibilities that go along with your citizenship. The duty to vote, the duty to serve on juries, and to respect and tolerate the person and views of your fellow citizens. And it is important for you to recognize, as does the court, the power and promise of immigrants. And unfortunately, the ugliness of some of the statements made of late in the public square that are best described as anti-foreigner, anti-immigrant, or anti-some immigrants. I have no idea where the immigrant debate in this country is leading, but I will say, probably for sure, that during this election year, there could once again be an increase in anti-immigration and immigrant sentiment among some. But I can also tell you a few things for certain. First, you should know that America is what it is in large part because of people like you. This country is unique among nations. It has achieved its greatness as a nation because it is a patchwork of people from other countries with different backgrounds, cultures, and religious beliefs. All immigrants have contributed in some way to the richness and strength, spirit and vitality of America. Just as importantly, as I'm sure you learned in your studies about this country, that there are three co-equal branches of government, a framework providing checks and balances that has allowed our country to thrive and prosper, even during the most challenging and the darkest of times. And in particular, a fair and impartial judiciary exists in part to shield the oppressed from oppression and protect the populace from acts of tyranny, both big and small, that tend to undermine the rights of our people. And just so there's no confusion among you or any other of our citizens, it is not un-American to peacefully disagree with your leaders or your government. It is not un-American to peacefully oppose and protest injustice wherever you see it. And it is not un-American to push for change that you believe will better our nation. These things are quintessentially American. In fact, it was these very acts that resulted in the creation of the country we have today. And just so you know, you're not alone as immigrants. As Mayor Schemper indicated his background and the fact that he is a descendant of immigrants. Had Judge Baxter been here, or District Court Judge, or Judge Nygaard, or Judge from the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit, or Judge Lanzillo was here, who's our magistrate judge, and myself. We're all descendants of immigrants. We are not maybe first in line immigrants like you, but we have the same genes in a sense. So we're a nation of immigrants. Judge Nygaard of the Third Circuit is a second-generation Swede, at least from his father's side. As far as our Judge Baxter, Judge Lanzillo, and myself, from our father's side, we're second-generation Italians. Like Mayor Schemper's mother, my mom was a German-Irish, or my mom's grandmother was German-Irish. So we have long roots in the immigration existence here, all the judges in this court. So you're not alone in that regard. And as a country made up of immigrants and descendants of immigrants, we value the contributions of our new citizens in business, government, the arts, and education, all of which have made our country, our nation, the envy of the world. Indeed, the highest honor, the proudest moment, and the last step in this long journey through the difficult maze of immigration is this day, the day you became a United States citizen. And by becoming a United States citizen, you are making the ultimate statement that you, as all of us are willing to stand up and defend the ideals of freedom that we all hold so dear. This is a very special day for you, a time of great excitement, and I'm proud and honored to be a part of it. So on behalf of all the judges of this court, the United States Court for the Western District of Pennsylvania, and especially the bankruptcy judges for the Western District of Pennsylvania, congratulations. Thank you. At this time, we're going to meet each of you. We're going to try and do something a little bit like we do when we have the big ceremony with 50 or 60 folks and all the family members here. But it's going to be a little more intimate, and I understand that in the past when we've had these shortened ceremonies, the folks from immigration and whatnot hand out their certificates of citizenship. I'm going to actually meet each one of you individually. I'm going to call each of you up. These certificates of citizenship can be given at that time. Mayor Shember can give his traditional pen. Do you have your pens?
I do. I forgot to mention that earlier.
All right. Well, you're going to get a little bit of a gift here from the city, well, from Mayor Shember himself personally, which you will enjoy. Mayor Shember, tell us about your pen. You forgot to tell us about it.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the pens earlier, but there's 4 different colors. They're all bluey, but every time you press the back of it, they light up like that. This is the red one. And it says, first there's a sunrise on the very top of it, because this is the beginning of a new life for you. Then it says, welcome to America, welcome to Erie, PA, create a great future for you and your family. And it's got my name at the bottom. So there's 4 different colors, green, blue, orange, and red, and like I said, they all light up like that when you press the back. To get the ink out, you just hold the bottom and twist it, and the ink comes out. So you all get one of these. And also, Deacon's got her cards, so you have access to her. Also, a handout that Deacon has here. So we'll be passing those out as well. Thanks, Judge.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. Glad you didn't get that. It's important. And what we typically do is at this point in time, all the judges will go into the well of the courtroom, and all the folks will come up in the real procession, and all the folks that gave remarks will be in line, and you come through and shake hands, and you're on your way. But it's a little impersonal in the sense we don't get to actually meet each of you individually. So as a result, what we're going to do here in a minute, actually, your takeaway from this ceremony, you can say it was a little more fulfilling and rewarding than the typical one. So we're going to make this nicer in its own way. And I actually got the list of all the new citizens, and I have your names. And I sat down last night, and I'm going to try and pronounce all of them. Okay? A couple of them are pretty easy, but as I call in alphabetical order, ladies, you can do certificates in alphabetical order. Well, we're going to put you to the task. Okay?
We're in order of how we're sitting.
We're going to bring them up alphabetically, so give your best shot, okay? We're going to start with, we only have 17, so you got to do it, okay? How about as they approach the podium, and I get to meet you, I'm going to ask for Ranu Acharya from Bhutan. Ranu, come on up, come on up. Mayor Shember, I'll let you give it. Why don't you come to the podium?
I'll leave choose a color.
How did I do on your name? Did I do okay?
Yeah.
All right, good. That's one now. All right.
Which color do you like? Do you have a preference? Green? Green's my favorite color too. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, this is going to be a little tougher one here, so bear with me. How about Gofran, Rayad, Abdul, Karim, Al-Saidi? Would you please come up? She's from Iraq.
What color pen do you like? Green? Oh, it's too green.
How'd I do? Was it okay?
You must have practiced that night.
I know, I worked hard. All right, here's another one. Let's see. How about Ali Al-Janina Ali from Sudan? Well, at least everybody so far is recognized there.
We'll get pictures afterwards.
Congratulations.
What color do you like? Okay.
Okay, good. I'm just kidding. I'm sure you don't believe it, but his math said I'd rather be golfing. I'm sure you don't want to, you can delay the golfing till later today. Anyhow. All right, here, we'll try this one. How about Ali Ismail Al-Nasari from Iraq? All right. All right, how about Hussein Alexander Al-Sabong from Iraq?
Congratulations. Do you have a red color? Red? Okay, sure.
Thank you. All right. Neltama Suleiman Tutu Angelo from the Sudan.
Congratulations.
What color are you?
All right. Anuja Shetri from Bhutan. I think I'm doing okay when they actually stand up and recognize the name.
Yes.
So I'm close. I'm in the ballpark.
Hello. You have a color preference for the day?
Wow, this one is a little easier than my corner. Josephine Hernandez Bay from the Philippines.
Congratulations.
You have a color preference?
Red.
Green? So far, everybody's taking either red or green.
All right,
There you
well,
go.
hopefully you have enough. So, all right, I think this may be a related group here. Janai Uragai from the Bhutan.
Congratulations.
Color preference? Last green.
Then we have Subhadra Uragai from Bhutan.
Congratulations. You're welcome.
Congratulations. You have a color preference?
Next, we have Suai Tin Nem from Burma.
Congratulations.
Do you have a color preference?
Red.
Red.
Next, we have Mimo Mohammed.
Congratulations.
Do you have a color preference? Red?
Robert Ohm from Burma.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You have a color preference? Doesn't matter? Okay. I'll give you one second. Sure.
Next, we have Wala Ziad Sharor from Syria.
Congratulations.
Do you have a color preference?
Next, we have Marina Slideshow from the Ukraine. Shukari Ali Windi from Iraq.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Whatever. Thank you.
Finally, last but not least, we have Dale Malcolm Young, which I'm sure I got correctly from the United Kingdom. All right. Ladies, you did a great job with the certificates. I appreciate that last minute shuffle you went through. We appreciate that. And I want to say to all the new citizens that it was an honor and pleasure to meet all of you in the past few moments there. And that's something we don't typically do in the bigger ceremonies. So you have a takeaway that your folks that came before you really haven't had. So look at it that way. So the fact that we had to shorten these ceremonies for today. And then when I've done these in the past, and I can understand if no one wants to participate, though, I've asked the new citizens, if there's one or two folks that would like to come up and tell everybody what this day means to them after this long and difficult journey that you finally achieved and attained your goal of citizenship in this wonderful country. I was wondering, would anybody like to come and state for the record what today means for them? And I had a couple people come up and I had to cut them off, to be honest with you. They go a little too long. I'm just talking about maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. Anyone? All right, that's okay. I'll give you that opportunity if anybody felt like commenting. And another thing that we typically do in all these ceremonies, and fortunately we have the benefit of that here today, is the fact that we get a group picture. And we have Mr. Christopher Millett from the Erie Times News here, fortunately for all of us. And I see that the last time we did one of these ceremonies in this truncated fashion, that through the ingenuity of maybe Mr. Millett and Judge Baxter, we were able to get a group picture that really was somewhat iconic, I believe. And when I saw it, I was very impressed. I thought it was wonderful. And what happened was, and I think we'll do the same thing, Chris, if that's okay with you, it seemed to work well, and it honors all our requirements here for social distancing and wearing masks and whatnot, yet we can get a group picture. And I'm going to ask that all of you stand in place and hold your certificates up to show your new citizenship here, and we'll have a group picture. And then Mr. Millett will, okay, Mr. Millett will give you a certificate or a piece of paper that you can actually purchase. Is that correct?
There we are.
Oh, you already got
The
it?
mayor was gracious enough to add to his
Oh, it's packed.
hand collection.
Beautiful. All right, so now you know that if we take the group photo, just like everybody else that comes to one of these ceremonies, you have the opportunity to purchase it from the Times, from Mr. Millett at a very reasonable cost. So, but let's take the picture first before we start selling.
And
Okay?
Judge Agresti, we'd love you to just find yourself a spot right here so we can get you in this photo as well.
Mr. Schamberg is going to join us. Okay.
And Mayor Schember, absolutely. Deacon, do you want to jump in, or do you want to take a picture? Okay. And let's see, Mayor Schember, if you find a spot right about there, and Judge Agresti, that's just about where you are. Perfect, right there. Good. Mayor Schember, right there. Okay. Can everybody stand, please? Hold your, if you like, you can hold your right here.
Hold on.
Mayor Schember, come forward a few steps, please. Judge Agresti, right in front of that desk, please. Okay, I'm going to do what we call a Hail Mary, so I'm going to come up here so I can see you all. Hold still, please. Good, we're going to do it again. 1 or 2 more. No blinks, please. Hold on. We're going to do that right there. Yes, folks, and last one. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
I like the way you changed it a little bit. That was nice.
A little tax.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge.
With that, I'd like to just make a final comment. Again, thanks to all this event would not have been as nice as I think it turned out. So with that, I wish you all very well. I congratulate you. It's been an honor to participate and administer the oath of citizenship to all of you. And good luck in the future. We're happy to have you as part of our community. Take care.